ahead and call the Finance Committee meeting to order. Thank you all for being here. At this time, Bev Lauer is going to give us the monthly financial report along with investments in our line of credit. So, Bev?
Okay, we have $892,843 in our checking,
Now I can hear you.
with $605,525.11 in claims to be paid. We have $4,852,554 in investments and $394,949.77 on the line of credit.
Bev, how does that compare to a month ago? I'm just curious. I can't remember. I'm an elderly person. Can you refresh my memory?
The line of credit.
Yeah, what was our line at the end of July, I guess it would be? Our last report.
I'd have to go in the office and get the exact figure. Do you want to know what it went up?
Has it gone up or down?
It went up.
Okay.
In the neighborhood of 250 or 80,000, somewhere in that neighborhood.
It went up. The highway department needed $160,000 for their bills, and that's what it went up.
Now, I'm assuming, based on the conversations we had with Jimmy, Jeff, that those are timing issues, are they not?
That's what Jimmy says, it's cash flow issue.
Yeah.
He hasn't been paid for his day labor projects right now.
And then, you know,
It
quite,
was $234,949 last month.
Yeah, so that'd be
234.
160, so.
and you know, lines are for those types of things, for timing reasons, but you certainly don't want to live in your line to operate. But if you have timing things, then, so I'm assuming this line should start to come down then when he starts to get these day labor projects in.
If Jimmy is here, we'd ask him directly.
Okay.
But that's the plan.
Conversation we had.
Yeah.
Okay.
The day, and does it sound like the day labor that he's owed will cover the $160,000, or will be more than that? I mean, I guess I'm asking, did we take more out than the day labor will cover?
No, by what I understood was we were going to cover those costs and more.
And more. Okay, that's what I was.
Not much more, but more, is the way I understand it.
I was concerned that it would at least cover what we took out. Yeah. Okay.
And there's some FEMA projects they didn't get money into also.
Right.
So Jimmy broke down, he gave us a breakdown of expected income, so you know.
Right, I remember seeing
Yeah.
that.
I think that's an MFT check too that came in.
Yeah.
So,
And dispersals, the next dispersals we'll work on it, so. The highway department's gonna have a rough year here between the year's delay in the Knoxville project completing that, and we don't start another day labor project with Joy. So it's gonna be a rough year.
But most of that is just a timing issue, right? I mean, eventually we get that money back. That's my understanding.
We should, but I said, they're gonna be scraping for pennies for the until next summer when they start the Joy project, hopefully.
Well, plus too, the salt costs have gone up dramatically.
Yeah, but we haven't fully addressed that,
Right.
how we're gonna pay for that salt if we absolutely need to.
Bev, in looking at claims and checking balance and claims, do you see the line creeping up more in the next 30 days, or do you see it staying the same, going down?
Well, I mean, I think the general fund has been holding its own. So that will just depend on when taxing distributions get out. I mean, if you look at the account balances, you'll see that what's in the checking accounts, you know, and what's on their claims, you know, you do have some stuff still in the negative. You've got some, federally matching funds at motor fuel, and then you got some investment money to pull out to cover claims.
Right. And those claims are part of that 394 right now, correct? The like here, we have $196,000 in highway in claims. Is that claims total part of our current line where we're at 394?
No, it's not. not. These claims will come out on the 15th of this month.
Okay. So in reality, the line may go up.
If the highway department needs the money.
Okay. I think that gets to your question, George. And, but I think it also gets to the bigger question, you've already said, Jeff, the highway's gonna have a tough year. Question is, we're using our line to fund it.
Right. And also bringing everybody's attention, the motor fuel tax went from, I believe, 600-some thousand a year ago. It's been decreased to around 450 or 60,000 this year. So the state's already decreased their motor fuel tax by over $100,000. Wow.
So part of that's lost revenue from the
Yes.
prior year. Well, just expect that from the state. Condition there. Not surprising. Do you have anything else that you have for us in the financial report?
No, thank you.
Thank you for reporting. Vicki, probation?
You should have a green sheet in your packet, and as of April, August 11th, that's where we were at.
Any questions of Vicki from the finance committee? Hearing none, motion to approve the report. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's back up, we need to approve the monthly financial report. Motion for that, please.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Anseeuw, Public Health.
Yeah, and close in fact, it's the revenue expenses for month and also year to date.
Any questions of Mr. Anseeuw? Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Law enforcement financials, Mr. Haines.
I would like to have a motion to approve the financials.
So moved.
Second.
Pay off the van loan, I'd like Mr. McWhorter to explain that.
Okay, you want to get the financials?
Yeah, let's approve the financial report, Tom. So it's been moved and seconded. Any questions?
Do I not read that right, July 15th? But we haven't received that yet? Or is that what that said?
That's all the money you have received.
Okay.
And then we got 91,000, got over 85 last week for payroll. So on your U.S. Marshals financials, they're paid up to date.
Okay.
So those two highlighted items on there have been paid. So they're paid up to date, and the only thing that's outstanding is Cook County of 6,000, roughly whatever is on that sheet right there.
Any other questions of law enforcement financials? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Jeff, you want to give us an update on budget meetings?
We need to talk about the van.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The county approved purchase of a prisoner transportation van 2 or 3 years ago, and we have a balance remaining on that, $13,730.94. I thought to clean up our all of our loans and stuff out there, it'd be probably prudent just to go ahead and pay that off, so we don't have a loan sitting out there where we have a hard time keeping track of how it's paid. Because the transportation money comes in and goes into the general fund. And that money's supposed to go out and make van payments.
What is the interest rate on that van payment, Jeff?
I don't know what the interest rate is there.
Well, is it more than 2%?
Yeah, I'm sure it's more than 2%.
My question is, if it's more than 2%, if you use your line, our line's at 2.
Yeah.
If it's a 5% loan.
But I'm scared this little loan's gonna sit out there and it's gonna get neglected and not get taken care of in a timely fashion.
Well, you done?
No, go ahead, George.
Can I just ask this question? I thought we discussed this once before, and we all were, I thought, were in agreement, and that we were making quarterly payments, is that, weren't we?
We pay the interest and a little bit on the principal.
There was principal payments being made, because it started out like
Yeah, it's
26,000, it's
had to be,
down to
yeah.
13,700.
I sure don't have an argument with paying it out of the general fund, because that's where the transportation money is going into. To me, that's what it's for. It's to help pay the van and maintenance, and, you know, it makes perfect sense to me.
But I'm just wondering, in the past year, when we've had the absence of the treasurer to take care of this in a timely fashion, that they weren't being taken out quarterly.
Treasurer, do you know that we're supposed to be making quarterly payments on that van?
Deputy treasurer.
Deputy Treasurer, I'm sorry.
Yes, there is quarterly payments.
Have we been making it?
Yes, we
Yeah,
do.
we get a statement.
Yeah, I don't have I don't have an argument with paying it off so that we don't have to pay a larger percentage.
Well, the interest, you know, that's why I asked the
Yeah.
question of interest rate, if you're paying 4 or 5% interest rate. I mean, I'm assuming we're gonna have to borrow this money from the line to, or is there the cash in the account?
It looks to me like we have the money in the bank.
Yeah,
Sure. Fine, and it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to
Take
pay
that
out
to
the van loan with general fund proceeds.
Can you give us that amount?
$13,730.94.
I'll make that motion. Take the hand off.
We need to the motion is to send it to the full board for approval though, because we can't make them payments.
All right,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
I don't hear any opposed, do I? All right, Jeff, budget meetings?
We've been having them approximately once a week. Last week, we had a scheduled meeting, we met with the sheriff and the zoning officer. Things are proceeding, we're starting to get a better handle on the way things are going right now.
Jeff, are we gonna plan on meeting Saturday, this week?
So what's your say, flavor?
Well, everything's been screwed up with my grandbaby came.
Yeah.
But, Saturday would be okay, Larry, if you can meet Saturday.
I do anything for you, Jeff.
Oh, you wanna come across and give you a kiss?
No, not into that.
You said anything.
Well, wait a second.
Well,
We
yeah,
need to-
maybe not anything.
We're close in District 3, but not that
Not
close.
that.
Will that work for you?
Yeah, that was okay.
So you wanna have me Saturday at 9 o'clock and
Yeah.
review things and, okay,
That sounds good.
okay.
All right, contract for quarterly and year-end financial statements. Jeff, you want me to take a swing at this, or do you
Yeah,
want to take
no,
a
you
swing? Okay. Phyllis, real quick, a question. Did we ever get a response from Carpenter, Jim Taylor, as to what?
I talked to him on Friday, and he is going to look at her proposal and then determine how much could be knocked off the audit
Okay,
price according to what she's already gonna be doing.
okay. Just for a matter of history, it was brought to our attention this year as part of the audit, when Jeff and I met with Jim Taylor from Carpenter, Mitchell, and Goddard, that there might be some benefit to have the county work with an independent auditor separate from Carpenter and Mitchell and Goddard. What's happening now is basically they're coming in and closing the books, and then they're auditing what they closed. And they're saying that that's a no-no, which anybody here who's worked with CPAs know that. That's not good policy. They told us that it would make sense if the county could annually have this done. It was based on that initial discussion that Jeff and I And Jeff, we've talked about this even before
Yeah.
that audit meeting,
Right.
that it would probably make sense to also have quarterly financials done in a manner that each quarter we knew how we were performing in our various functions of government. You know, right now, we wait till our audit, and then we see how we did.
And our audit's usually several months off from the end of the year.
Yeah, you're 4 months off,
4 months off.
120 days to 150 days. So we feel that we would have more real-time, you know, information if we went to a quarterly, if you will, interim financial statement, and then an annual independent group, if we engage this group to close the books. And then Carpentier would then audit, close books by a third party. So we have a proposal from a firm, and I think they're a local firm, are they not?
Yeah. She lives in Rock Island, Lower Rock Island County.
Okay, Taylor Ridge.
She presently does the same type of work for the city of Aledo also.
Yeah. And they have proposed a fee for both quarterly interim financial statements and then annual financials, the annual close. And I believe we had 10,000 for the year end and 3,000 per quarter, so a total of $22,000. The reason why I asked Phyllis the question, how much would Carpentier's work go down based on this interim work being done, I think becomes germane, because it may be that the work we have done costs us about what we would save with the Carpentier, Mitchell, and Goddard folks. What I'd like to do is, if we could, can we table this for a month until we get some information from them to know for sure what we're asking the county or the finance committee to recommend for approval? Is it 22? Is it 12? Is it 6?
Well, we can decide that right now, whether we want them to do the quarterly and the year end or not. And this is just their price schedule, 3,000 per quarter and 10,000 per annual. I would say,
I'd like to get them started
Yeah.
as soon as we could on the quarterlies, but
because if we don't get started in quarterlies, then we're gonna be, you know, they're gonna be behind the 8 ball before the year's end.
Am I understanding this would come out of the liability fund too?
Yes.
I think this is definitely risk
Because
management.
it's accounting type stuff, yeah.
And
Well, I don't have a problem moving forward, it'd be nice to know if there, you know, because there was
He said
talk
it
about
wouldn't-
savings.
It wouldn't be dollar for dollar, he didn't think, but it would be pretty darn close.
it's gonna give us more, better records to track ourselves also.
What ended up being so expensive in this last year's audit was that we pushed them, you know, to get it done early. And then there were some major difficulties with the grant reporting, which is part of this whole process, is to get our grant reporting legitimized, basically, and work with all of the departments that get grants to make sure that they're reporting it correctly, they're reporting according to county standards. So that, you know, I think overall, the cost for Carpentier, Mitchell, and Goddard's gonna go down pretty drastically. If she's going to do all of the things that she says she's going to do in here, it's gonna cut their workload down, I would say, by half.
And we presented her with what Carpenter, Mitchell, Goddard wanted done, and we presented her that list, and that's what she worked off of.
So if we engage them now, they would be in place, they would do a third quarter and a fourth quarter interim for us,
Right.
and then they would close the book, so it would be,
16,000.
it would be, yeah, it would be 6 and 10, 16.
Plus, they'll work with us on the transition for the new financial system to make sure that everything, all the balances come over correctly. tweak whatever we have done, you know, make sure that it's what they need to pull out for the financial statements. It's easy to get to.
Well, for one, I think it would be great to have interim statements. When we were doing our bond refinance, we ran into a little difficulty on interim financial statements. When some of the folks that were looking at our bonds were asking for, you know, year-to-date and interim type stuff, we really didn't have the kind of information that they were, I think, used to seeing to a degree. So I think that that's really, I think, where some of this started, was that issue of when we were refinancing the bonds. Well, I'm comfortable with the explanations, and I agree. I think we're going to see some savings. It may not be dollar for dollar, but you're going to see some savings there. So we're asking to bring to the county board tonight an appropriation, so we're amending the budget by $16,000.
Well, actually, if they're almost one for one, we won't have to amend it to 16,000. It should be.
Well, I guess that was my question. What are we asking the board to do? Is it 16? Is it 8? You know, what are we?
Might have to do some adjusting.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're using majority of the liability funds, if it has anything to do with the budget at all, it should be very minimal. I mean,
And the budget's general
we use the
fund
liability fund.
and not liability.
Well, I understand, but you know, if we're going to add something to the liability fund that wasn't approved in the budget, do we need to?
So we're gonna say we're gonna add 3,000, it's gonna cost, we don't know what it's gonna actually save us or cost us at this point. Depends on when we get our, audit and what their final charge is.
Okay.
Our final audit might save us more than what it's gonna cost us.
For just this year, for the 2 quarters and.
Well,
We
the
may
10th,
not get a bill until after the next
Yeah.
fiscal year rolls around anyway, so.
I definitely think we'd save that 10,000 off of our audit, year-end audit.
Due to the year-end closing.
Yeah, the quarterly deal, I don't know how much that savings is gonna be, that's gonna be more of a benefit to us in managing our cash flow.
But it does balance out those accounts on a quarterly basis,
Yeah.
rather than waiting till the end of the year.
Okay, well, do we want to move forward with, that we're going to get some savings from Carpenter to be identified, yet to be identified, and put a cap on what we're going to spend, and if it's less than that, then it's less than that.
If it's more, they'll have to come back to us and ask for more, and we'll have to discuss it.
Who are you talking about, Carpenter,
What are you talking about?
or are you talking about this, company? They pretty much listed out flat fees here, 3,000 and 10,000.
Yeah.
We haven't engaged our, regular auditors yet
For next year.
For the 14 audit.
Right.
So we can adjust what we would pay to them according to what we spent on this.
Regarding the.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only question is, there is going to be an additional cost to the liability, even if there's an adjustment.
Could be,
Okay. Do we want to clarify that so that we know what we're asking the liability fund to come up with?
if you can come up with an exact figure.
I'm not saying I can,
Yeah.
Jeff, that's why I'm
Right.
saying.
That's why I'm saying
The year end will be in the coming year.
The year
It'll be
end
in
will be in 15.
15 budget.
Right. So that's why, if we're gonna spend money this year in 14, we're gonna have to appropriate money that, in the liability fund, that needs to be appropriated to pay for this interim stuff, because we didn't have,
Okay.
right?
Right. I get where you're going. Unless they don't send their bill, depends when they bill us.
Well, if you wanna do that, that's
The
fine.
10,000 won't be billed till next year anyway.
Right, so what we're talking about is 2 quarters. We're talking about 2 quarters.
Probably one
$6,000.
quarter.
Are we
The
were we gonna
second
close
quarter-
third and
The
fourth?
fourth quarter wouldn't be billed till the following year when it's completed, right?
It's according to when you spent the money, not when you said you spent it.
6
It's still gotta go to this year's.
Joe, why don't we do this? Why don't we, Larry had a good point. Why don't we just say not to exceed $6,000?
That's what I would do.
We appropriate.
That's their numbers they put
So
on.
can we make that motion
Yeah.
to engage these folks to not exceed $6,000
For the 2014.
for the
If they think it's
2004?
gonna exceed 6,000, they need to give us warning and come back and let us know.
Yeah.
We'll decide if it's gonna be anything.
Who would like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Who would like a second? So we're gonna appropriate $6,000 for 14 out of the liability fund for this interim accounting.
Start the quarterly audit.
Okay. Quarterly interim financial statements. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes, George motion here.
Were you opposed, Jeff?
No,
Oh, I heard you say yes.
well, I mean, it's all for public.
Oh,
Sorry, I was.
She asked me if we had a motion, and I said, yes, George motion.
hey, it's like an auction, don't say anything.
So, we thought it was already over with. Yeah.
So we, all right,
Now, do we need a motion to take this to the full board?
yeah, that's what we're doing.
That's what
We're taking it to the full board tonight because it's on the board
Right,
agenda.
and so the motion was to take it to full board, not to, cost not to exceed 6,000 over this year.
Correct.
Right, okay. Get that full? Okay.
I think this will be excellent. As county board members and staff, we're gonna have strong information. So, I've lost my agenda, where is it? Here. All right, here it is. Possible audit of specific accounts. Oh, boy, you guys are gonna get your money's worth tonight from me, aren't you? Okay. We're going to discuss this obviously on the board agenda tonight, but in your packet, and thank you, Phyllis, for mailing that out. I was instructed by the board to go and speak with the folks at the Glattery who conducted our phase 1 forensic audit. I had a conversation, I think maybe 2 conversations with Sue Emelsizer, and in discussing with her the current situation that we're in, she subsequently, I believe, emailed, or you emailed her some information on 14 or 15 specific accounts, 14 accounts, correct? So Bev had some communication with Sue as well, based on the conversation I had with Gregg McHugh and Sue. And if you're confused, just follow me for a second. What McGlattery is proposing here is 2 things. The one thing they're proposing is they think, if you go back and look at their forensic audit, which I know some of you have, they had a series of things that they felt were internal control issues, and I'm not going to open up that can. But they also had areas identified that they thought were prime areas for additional opportunities for something to occur. Within that framework, they think in their proposal, they think that one of the areas is the real estate tax collection and distribution transactions. They felt that upon their first part of the forensic audit that there could be additional concerns there. Since that time, there has been some accounts that have been identified as potential, issues that may need to be looked at as well. And they gave a proposal on both of those. Their proposal to look at the real estate side of the house was between 22 and 40, is that 5,000? And they're on the other side of the house, looking at these specific accounts, their range was from 15,000 to 25,000 to look at the specific accounts.
Is that per account, Ted, I can't remember, or is that for?
There
the
were
all-
selected bank accounts, 14.
That's what,
Yeah,
all 14.
the selected bank accounts, I apologize. For the selected bank